Wow. Some of what happened to Jesus was really horrible, wasn't it? Maybe you've watched some of the horrible histories. Maybe you've read some of the books about the awful Egyptians or the rotten Romans. Did you know the rotten Romans used to have bowls at their tables to when they were eating, and sometimes they'd be sick in the bowls so that they could eat more food. That's horrible. But as we look at Jesus's death, is Jesus's death just another horrible history? Like the horrible, gory, grim facts that we see in horrible histories? It's a really important question, because if the answer is yes, it's just another horrible history, then we're wasting our time looking and thinking about him this week. But if the answer is no, if there's more to Jesus' death than just being a horrible history, then it's a really big deal. It's completely life-changing. Is Jesus' death more than just a horrible history? Well, what we read in the Bible is that Jesus' death is definitely history. It definitely happened, and the horrible facts are there. And what the accounts about Jesus' life tell us is all about the horrible facts. Maybe we saw in the video there, the horrible facts of what happened. There's an unfair trial, the lies, the crowds that shouted, "Crucify him," the beating, the mocking, the names that he was called, the spitting. And then Jesus was nailed to a cross. The pain is awful. So is Jesus' death horrible? Yes. It is history and it is horrible, but is it just another horrible history? No. And we get two big signs. I wonder if you spotted them in the video. The first big sign is darkness. It was lunchtime, right in the middle of the day, and for 3 hours, everything went dark as Jesus was hanging on the cross. Imagine how scary that would be. You were sat down to eat your lunch, it's bright sunshine outside, and then, out of nowhere, complete darkness. Well, the Bible tells us that darkness is a sign of God's anger at sin. It's God's way of saying we've got it wrong and we need to know it. But wait a minute. If it goes dark at this moment, who is God angry at? It can't be Jesus, can it? He's the perfect son. He's the superhero, not the villain. Why would God be angry at him? Well, here's the amazing truth. The Bible teaches us that Jesus has taken our sin upon himself. God is angry at Jesus instead of us. God is punishing Jesus instead of us. He faces God's anger so that we don't have to. But that's not the only sign we saw. The second sign is the temple, the curtain in the temple. It was gigantic, huge, enormous, heavy, and so thick. It's about as big as a bus and about as thick as my hand. And it separated where God was from the people. It separated God and the people. It hung there like a huge no entry sign. It was like a loud message. You can't come in because of your sin. You can't come in because of your sin. But we heard that when Jesus died on the cross, the huge curtain ripped from top to bottom. The big barrier came crashing to the floor. The no entry sign was taken away. Why? to show us that Jesus made it possible for us to be friends with God. The no entry sign had gone. Anyone who trusts in Jesus can be friends with God. So you see those two signs, the darkness and the curtain in the temple. They're two huge signs from God that Jesus' death isn't just another horrible history. They're proof that Jesus died to rescue us from sins. And did you notice right at the end of the video, the soldier that must have seen loads of people die, he knew something amazing had happened. He said, surely this man was the Son of God. Do we know that something amazing has happened? Do we know that Jesus' death is amazing? Because we've seen all the evidence today too, that this is the hero's ultimate rescue. So we're going to sing about that rescue and sing about the super saviour together.